Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Angela Fagg with Messengers of Truth. So first, we're going to start off with singing a song. Here it goes. I'm not a good singer, but I guess I'm supposed to do this. So there is a fresh wind blowing across this land. Nothing or no one will be able to stop it. Oh, help me, Jesus, 'cause there is a mighty fresh wind of the Lord. All right, good morning. So that's how we were supposed to start that one off. I didn't hope it. I'm not, so much like a jackass on that one. So anyways, I'm going to read my copyright disclaimer. Make sure I can see it all the way. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips to balance in favor of fair use. Okay? All right. I got that out of the way. So today, I wanted to talk to you about some books that I've been reading over the last couple of years. Well, the last year. So first, I want to start off with, I'm hoping that I'm doing this right because I have autofocus on the camera. So I'm trying to learn a whole bunch while we're going through this with the camera. So, hold on. There we go. The American Heritage Book of the Indians by, my finger's in the way, by William Brandon. And JFK, he wrote the introduction in there. Somebody I know gave me this book, and it's a very good read. What I learned from it, the main part was that Andrew Jackson, the president from long ago, he was a real, he wasn't a good dude, okay? But it's good to understand the land where you come from and the people that were living there. So I read the whole thing, and some of it made me mad, because I don't believe any human being should be treated in the manner that they would. And I do believe there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way that I do. I learned that Native Americans, some of their tribes would stay outside of the forts, and they would grow crops and stuff because they would know when hard times were coming because they're very spiritual people. And they would feed the people in the forts and stuff. That's one of the things that are talked about here. And I think that that's good education to get besides just, the Pukaki. And I also learned what Andrew Jackson did, and I learned about the trading companies that started the United States of America. You see, they talk about it, the Indian Company, I don't even know where you would find this book, because if you see, I'll show you right here, if you see, this is how old the book is. It started coming apart, but I just keep it together. And I think it's a good book that you should read it, because it's got knowledge in it that we don't even learn in our schools. I'm trying to learn to look at the camera down here. I don't have any videos or anything that I'll be showing right now today. I'm just going to be talking about some of the things that I've learned in these books, and I believe that other people should read them and see what was really going on, because like the things that I was learning about Native Americans and the different tribes that I've learned over the years and stuff, it's kind of important because you also learn that they believed in, sorry, my nose itches. They believe in the same type of traditions, not exactly the same. They do them differently, but they have the same type of traditions. Like they have their festivals. That's what Thanksgiving was until some real bad stuff happened. But it's Thanksgiving for the harvest that they had in fall. And in Judaism, they do the same thing. So it's good to learn that the Native Americans are very similar. They just do things differently, and it's a different language. So some people tend to get to clenching their pearls, you know what I'm saying? So I read this one. I read another book, but I can't find it. It was about weaving baskets and some of the Canadian Indians. So there's that book, and then it was really itches. So then there's this other book right here. There we go. It's not shining on you. The Hopi Survival Kit. And you think, well, it's a survival kit. Like, what's that about? Well, what it's about is these chiefs of the Hopi and I believe the Navajo also went too. And they have a prophecy that's about America and the things to come, and that how it affects the rest of the world, that the things that happen here in America also happen. It affects the rest of the world, and how the rest of the world affects America. You know, hey, well, in one part, let me see if I can find it. Maybe we'll be lucky. I'll get it like real quick. He talks about, let me see if maybe it's in the, he talks in here about the fog, like the fog that we were just getting, you know what I'm saying? Let me see. This is on page 171, and I'm just going to read it because it seems like that's what I should read. We usually think of prophecy as something that has to do with disaster that will happen in the future, either to a person, a group, or a place. In this view, there are no nice prophecies. Most are so foreboding that they only incite fear, and so are diversely called doomsday prophecy. A book that is filled with them can leave you gasping for breath. Since we have enough bad news and don't need more, we usually turn back to prophecies and hope they will go away. This, and the guy that Thomas E. Males, the guy that was allowed to go out there and talk to the chief that did this, I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Hold on. It's one of the last elders that are keeping the real and the instructions of, what they're supposed to do here. And the guy's probably no longer with us because he was almost he was 100 when they were doing this, and he didn't like leaving his property because he was supposed to do his fields with the corn every day. And it's more like how we're supposed to grow our food and talk to plants, and it gives you more of a spiritual outlook, on different things and how they grow. I don't, in here, sorry, my nose is really itching me, bro. So in here, there is a way to grow plants instead of just putting it in the ground and putting all kinds of fertilizer on it and this. He says to pray to the Creator. You pray to the Creator and you thank the Creator for the seed that you're about to plant. And then you thank the seed for growing exactly the way the Creator had him grow. Is having the plant grow. And I thought that's very interesting because I actually talk to my plants. I'm like, hey, thanks for growing, guy. Sometimes I say other things like to my rose bushes. I say, oh, I'm so glad that God made you so beautiful. I hope you have so many more flowers on you. And I know that it sounds a little like, whoa, Angela, that's a little weird. But I'm thanking God throughout the whole day for the things that he's given me of this, of earth. And I learned, and through the process of all of this, I'm learning different things. Like, I learned, and it connects. That's what I'm getting at when I'm telling you about the books that I want to read, that I have read, and the things that I've read. Sorry. It connects also to this book as well. Some of the things that they were saying in here. Okay? You get it. So, it's like, I was just reading about Joseph's wife. I don't think this is it. That's not it. But anyways, and how she came about to be his wife. And it talked about rose bushes and the rose bushes of heaven and how they grow. And then it talked about the honey and this and that. I was like, well, that's something because I don't really like roses. At least I didn't. I didn't like roses, but now I have 11 rose bushes in my yard, which I did what I was supposed to do. And you can get them really cheap if you buy them small in a plant. And this year I'm going to take all the rose hips off of them and I'm going to grow more rose bushes. I'm just going to start planting them everywhere, out in the woods. But here it talks about those are the type of energies and the type of spirituality that you should have. You should, be able to hear prophecies that aren't so nice and, be okay with it. They prophesied about the carriages and the wheels and the people coming across America from the different land. They prophesied, their elders, they prophesied about that fog that we just had. Well, we still had some here today, but whatever. Not directly in my yard. It talks about different things that are going to happen, and it tells you about, some of them went to the UN to talk to those people, to tell them of the dangers of some of the things that they're doing that's causing problems on Earth, and it's causing problems, everywhere. It's a good read, and it's good to read things that aren't necessarily in the Bible and say, oh, well, that can't be true. This book right here proves it. These people, and when you read it, and I'm not saying it's for there we go. Sorry. I'm not saying to believe everything in there. I'm saying to open your mind and your heart and start realizing that this planet that God made is for everybody. It's not just for Christians or Jews. Okay? There was other tribes that were here from Noah. Okay? Now, so I also have been reading. I don't think I put it here. Well, I brought these two. I didn't bring the other one. We'll do that on another time. So, I grew up at our house. My mom believed in Jesus. See, my mom was raised Jewish. She had her bar mitzvah or bar mitzvah, whichever one that is. One's for male, one's for female, whatever. I wasn't raised that way. At our house, my mom believed in Jesus. And then when we go to grandma's house, we did Hanukkah. So every year I did Hanukkah and Christmas. We did Passover and Easter. sometimes we just so happens we would be there for Rosh Hashanah, or what's the other one, the one that's coming up right now. But those weren't like prominent. You understand what I'm saying? Like we had to be there for Passover. We had to go for Hanukkah. Those were things that we had to do every year. Those were mandatory. You know what I'm saying? Like they were seriously mandatory. So every time we would go to visit Grandma and Grandpa, we would get there either after temple, or my mom would get off work early enough or have that day off, and we could leave as soon as we got out of school, and we could get there before they would go to temple. So we were able to go with them if we wanted to. We didn't have to, but I always went because I liked it. I did. I liked it. And every time after temple, somebody was celebrating something, there would be like it was always a celebration. So in a celebration, there's danishes, kugel, challah bread, raisin challah bread, like all the good stuff. Little sandwiches, just tuna and casserole. And just all kinds of stuff, and soda. My mom didn't let us have a lot of soda, so that we could have a lot there. And they were always nice, and everybody was always, my nose, I'm having a major allergy right now. I do not like this. So anyways, I started reading Jonathan. I made another another video about one of the other books that I read of Jonathan Cahn's. Sorry. I just want to start sneezing. It's giving me a hard time. It's making my eyes start doing weird shit. So this one is by Jonathan Cahn. And I'm not done with it yet, but it talks about a lot of stuff in here about things that have happened and what a Shemitah year is, and the things that have happened over the years, that it has been a Shemitah year in the United States and everything. I didn't know what that is, but that's supposed to be like the year of rest, or it's anyways, you should read it. I didn't finish reading it because some of the things, it's not that they're not true. It's just that the United States government, has lied about a lot of things, which 9/11, Pearl Harbor, what else? I mean, there's a lot of them, but I don't think they'll ever tell us the truth. And I'm not going on. You just have to start. Look, go to open your eyes, start reading things maybe you don't want to read. That was what the video was about yesterday. I really didn't want to have to do it, dude. I just didn't, but I had to. And sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do. And that's what my mom always said. You have to do things you don't want to do. And she was right. So anyways, and if she was here, she would be like, she'd be laughing and smiling, probably doing the happy dance. So then I read this one, The Dragon's Prophecy, too. But just like, I like Jonathan Cahn. I like to watch some of his videos and everything. But we really need the American government to start telling the truth about a lot of things. Like, I can guarantee you that most of America doesn't know half of the information in this book right here. I can guarantee you. For real. And then, now this book, this is I got a stack of books next to me right here. That's how my elbow is able to go up, because I have a desk right here. And so I'm leaning my elbow on it. But anyways, so this book is by David Icke. Everything you need to know but have never been told. Let me, you see how thick that book is? It's just freaking thick, dude. It's thick. It's like 600 and some pages. Okay, and I'm just going to tell you right now, you're going to have to read it. I think it's a real eye-opener. And what I mean is a real eye-opener to people that have been seeing things and that have been told that they're crazy. That's what they're told. They're told you're crazy. There's no way. There's no way there's reptilians and you've seen this. Well, there's a story in this book. I don't know the lady. I don't know her. I ain't never heard the story. Okay? And I read it in this book and I said, well, hot damn. Hot damn. The queen is a reptile. I seen it. And no one can tell me no difference because I saw it. And God knew that I would not believe it unless he showed me things that I couldn't see anywhere else. And when I read this book, I said, there's no way. What? So this book took me a while to read because like all the other books that I read, I get other information with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's not like I'm okay. So I'm not better than nobody. Everybody else, there's other people going through this. And there's things that you've seen or heard or whatever, and it's not, you need to read it. Because Enoch also talked about it. It was also talked about in Genesis, in the book of creation, and other things like that that are over here, okay? That you get in this book. Okay? And there's probably more teachings out there, but the Romans went around, murking everybody. Okay? They the power that came off of the disciples and what was seen by Jesus scared them. Jesus gave you it here. It's here. It's here. It's in here. You feel it. I know you can feel it because a lot of people are feeling it now. It's all right. You'll be okay. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to be okay. Because when you find things and you read them and then other people tell you, not just the people that wrote the book, not just like this is his only book that I've read of David Icke's. Okay, this is the only one. I have another book called Renegade Mind. I have not read it yet. But now I'm going to read it, but that's not the book that I'm on right now because I only go to the book. I may purchase the book, but it may not be time for me to read that book yet. Okay, that's how it goes. Sometimes you're like, I just got to get that. And then you're like, well, why did I buy it? Because now I don't even feel like reading it. You have to question those things and you got to make sure that you just keep moving forward and don't let them stop you. Like right now with my nose is itching real. It's... And I just... The deceiver has done a lot of different things. And we got to start reading more. Not just the Bible. You have to be able... This isn't even the stack I have up by my bed. I have another stack by my bed that I'm reading. I have 2 books that aren't educational or anything like that because sometimes you need to take some quiet time and read something that is just going to get your mind off everything so you can just relax, calm down, because some of it's wild. It's just like, what? Okay? And we're going to have to work through it. And this is what we're all doing right now. We have been for many years. So, I meant to fold a piece of paper up, but I started reading. I got to close this book. This is the book I'm reading right now. And I'll have to get the other book out, but I'm not going to right now because it's up in a very it's up in a very safe place because okay, there's a flood coming. I'm sorry. It's not like I really want it to be funny, because it's not funny, because what I think is why I laugh about it. I laugh about it because it's not going to reach all the way here, but just in case, I put all the real important books up high, besides ones that I can grab. Okay? Anywho. And it's another book. It's the Chronicles of the New Testament by Michael Rood. That's a very interesting read, too. It's kind of repetitive and hard to get through, I'm not going to lie to you. But I got to take a drink. So, now, we just left this book, right? Everything you need to know. Now, all of these books intertie through each other. So, I lived in a place called Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. 15 years ago, almost. And, I lived there off and on for 3 years, and I learned a lot out there. And that's where I first learned about energy work, okay? And I always thought, well, it seems a little off, right? Like, there's got to be more than just what these people are talking about. And I worked at this, first I worked at a bar, 2 different bars. One was an inn bar, but that doesn't matter. I worked at this other place. It was a hot springs. It was natural flowing hot springs. That means they didn't use pumps to fill up the tubs. They just naturally flowed. And there was a hole in there that it would go out into the Rio Grande River. Well, it went into a smaller river that went out to the Rio Grande. So I learned a lot there, and that's also where I learned a lot about Geronimo. I actually went... Okay, I'm going to go out there again, but I actually went to where Geronimo lived at when they were fighting against the Americans in the Box Canyon. I went up to the hot springs, and it's a little hike to get up there because you got to keep going back and through the little river. And we went up there. It's quite cool. There's Picasso. There's the sucker fishes, Picassomuses. I'm not saying that right, but it doesn't matter. That's what's in there. They're in the little pond there. In the water, it just trickles right out of the ground and runs down into that pond. Very interesting. And it's like, it stays like 98 degrees or something like that year round. Never changes temperature. Well, as you go further down the river, because it mixes with more cold water, it's not as warm, but it's still pleasant. Down at the bottom there, now when people go there, I built a little pond there so people could sit in there, because it already looked like a hot tub. I just, we rearranged the rocks and everything around to where now it's like a little pool there and people can visit and whatnot. I wanted to tell you that. I happen to know a lot about American Indians, and I like to learn more about them because I think it's important, because that's the land we are on, and we should really consider Noah's people were all over the land, right? And they separated it up, all the different clans, and that's just saying that's where they come from. So now we have this book that I'm reading now, and it's called, let me put it up there. I want you a bit more. It's a big one. Alpha Tav Body System by that guy right there. I can't pronounce it, so I'm just letting you read it. I'll hold it there for a few seconds, so you can pause it if you want to write it down, because his .com is the same. Maybe it's on the back. It's the same as his name. Anywho. So in here, like I was saying, I told you about the hot springs for the reason of learning about energy work there. Okay, I actually became a master at Reiki I never got my certificate, but I never really used it anyways because I thought something was a little off and I needed more information before I did something, that would make God upset. That's the truth. Okay, because I've thought about a lot of those things. So I've been reading this one, which is another thick one. It's 400 pages, but it's really nice. Like the pages in it are all soft and shiny, and it's got the big thing here so you can turn the pages perfectly. Like seriously. And it gives you a language. He tells you about himself, the doctor here, and how he started out. And he started out, he had a learning disability, and then he just pushed himself harder and then found things that he liked to do, and electrical engineering, and then all kind of neuropathies and biology for healing and whatnot. And he was a Catholic, I think he said. Anyways, I'm only 50 pages into this guy right here, and it's going to probably take me a little while because I got to process what he's saying too, and I don't want to forget it because I'm self-learning. Okay, self-teaching, which everybody should be doing by now. And this book talks more about how I'm going to put it up one more time just to make sure that you guys are seeing what I got going on here. See, that's the Alpha Tav body system. And then by Dr. that guy, Alfonso Monzo. Okay, my last name's Fag. I can't make fun of other people. So it has more information about it, and it talks about how the deceiver also deceives people into going down partial ways. It talks about New Age and everything else. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I understand why a lot of people are going towards New Age. And that's because when there's some of these people that have grown up in churches, they want more. They know that there's more, okay? There's more learning to it. There's more. It doesn't want me to talk about it. There's more learning. There's more out there. There is an energy type of healing. Now, do I know? Now, you got to hold it up here. I haven't read the whole book. Now, do I know that this is what it is? No, but a lot of it resonates with me. Okay, so I'm willing to keep an open mind so I can learn more. Because I've seen some real horrible shit, man. And I'm going to talk about it now and I'm not going to cry. I have to say it. All right. There'll probably be another freeze coming. I don't think our summer is going to be too long. And I felt that way before I read this book. Okay? I felt that way before I read this book. And then I read it. And I was like, wow. God speaks to a lot of people in many different ways. And always, even when you read it through the Bible, it's always bringing all the tribes together. So are all the tribes the different shades that we are? That's a good question. Make you think a little bit. Am I saying that? I'm not saying that any other human being is not more superior than any other human being. Okay? It's not that way. We are all equally. We just have to go back. We just have to go back to God. And that's the whole point of learning and opening your mind up. And at the same time, you're opening your heart up, but you're also guarding it at the same time, because there's going to be things that you might have to burn it. Okay, like that book I burned. There were certain things in there that crossed the line a little too far. okay? And we are all, some real serious shit's about to come down the line, all right? I'm trying to get the words for it, but I'm trying to talk about something else that's not, listen. Fire and ice, fire and ice. It's been fire and ice for a while. Now it's literally fire and ice in the United States. There's things that are coming down that are not going to be able to be stopped. And there's things that are already happening that God will stop. And if our president doesn't make the choice we all have free will. And if our president doesn't make the right choice and start talking to Stephen Greer and other people to stop what they're actually doing in the deep state, Elon Musk needs to stop saying that there's no UFOs. There's plenty of us that across the United States. Who gives a shit about anybody else's country when we really come down to it? We have to care about the United States first, because we need to come together to help save ourselves. If we don't save ourselves, we cannot save the world. And what they are doing is they're oh man. What they are doing is not just about this satanic stuff, okay? It is, okay? That shit's bad, but they've been doing other things. They're completely opening portals. And most people are like, oh, we don't live in a sci-fi, whatever. I've seen the shit, bro. I've lived here in Florida my whole entire life. I grew up 45 minutes away from NASA. We used to fish over at Holiver Canal, because Holiver Canal, it's kind of illegal to be there at night, but we used to get shrimp like this, bro, like this big. So why aren't you going to go there? And the reason why you're not allowed to be there at night is because there's so many alligators that you might get eaten, okay? You got to go at your own risk type of shit. I'm telling you, I've been here my whole life. They've been doing things. I've never in my life seen the sky open up the way that it did. Not just once, but twice. These people want Armageddon. They want all of this revelations to come out of the Bible. They are setting it up to make you think that that's what it is, and it isn't. It's them. Other human beings that have opened portals and still are opening portals to not only deceive you, but to disrupt the whole entire universe. Do you know what happens when the whole entire universe gets disrupted? Like, they've done this before. It's happened before. God sends the army. Do you know what happens then? You don't know what happens, because this is serious. We have to, these people need to be stopped. I don't know how to stop them, but what they are bringing here is going to hurt all of us. It doesn't matter your religion, and you're not understanding that. It talks about it. And I know I'm not crazy because it talks about it in this book. I'm serious right now. This summer, the people that they let into our country, there's a city, I don't know where it is, okay? And I'm trying not to cry, because I ain't no damn sissy. But some of the shit's pretty scary, man. And I'm not afraid either. I just don't think people are getting this. How serious it is. You know that plane in D.C.? I saw it before it happened, years ago.
And I thought I was just, crazy. So I sat here and I paid attention and I looked things up and I watched whatever it was that, wow. I watched whatever it was that God was showing me to watch. And I sat there and I would cry. I don't know where the town is, but I don't know how these other people do it without starting to cry. And like, I try to cut off the pain that I'm feeling from the other people because it's not my pain. I'm not going to go through it. So then I start crying because it's hard for me. I've already processed it. It's hard for me to say it because it's wretched, bro. And I'm going to have to see it in the news. And some people have said, well, you just need to say it. Well, I was raised to sometimes you don't want to speak things into existence. Okay. I didn't want to speak these horrible things into existence. And what I learned from it was some things are just not going to be able to be stopped. Because it takes, I don't know where this place is. I know it's in the United States. These men come into a neighborhood, and it's a nice neighborhood. It's got the older oak trees and stuff, the older oak and pine trees. They're pretty big. It's kind of hilly, but not too hilly, so that means it's not in Florida. Or it could be northern Florida, but I've just never seen this place. And these people have been watching this neighborhood, I don't even know how long. And they just, during the day, and a lot of people get canceled. So I thought it was October 11th, and the horrible stuff that happened there is what I thought it was. And I know now that that's not what it's going to be. And I didn't want to talk about this publicly because it makes me cry, and I don't like to cry in front of people. I got ugly cry face now. And, something about Tulsa, Oklahoma. I saw I saw a man standing on a bridge, and there was a suitcase there. I opened that suitcase, and there was explosives in it, and I can't see who this guy is. I can't see his face. I see he's in a suit, and he's got nice hair. It's not shaved or anything. It's kind of long and styled, like a brownish blonde hair. And I saw the disruption that comes to New York City. It's like a wave. I told you about that once before. The one that happened in the neighborhood, I was suntanning in my backyard. It's before we had the little farm fences put up. And I was laying out there because it's private, so in my shorts and my shirt, because a pretty fat girl, and I didn't like laying out there in my bathing suit. And that's when I had the vision about the area, and that was before October 7th happened. So I was laying out there, and when I'm laying there, I'm real silent, and I just kind of talk to God, and I listen to the birds and everything, and I started getting all these flashes and everything, and I didn't want to lay in my backyard anymore. We didn't have those fences up, so my dogs couldn't just run around. So I stopped going out there for a little while because it frightened me because I'm home a lot. And so I went and got Betsy Ross, and that's what I call her. And most of the time I sit with my pistol because I don't know where they're going to go. And I'm supposed to tell and warn people, so other women, and there's an old guy there too. I don't know who they are. But everybody needs to start making sure you can be prepared to defend your home, because these guys are just going to come in and within 20 minutes, if that, it's good. And they've been here for a minute. So they're wearing all black. You can't see any of their faces. One lady survives. She acts like she's dead. And then the old man's running down the street. They kept him alive. The lady wasn't supposed to be alive. So people really need to start, even if you live out in the country, no matter where you're at, you need to make sure that you're always watching everywhere. They let some really bad people into our country. They're going to be hard to find. I don't want to be a doomsdayer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to tell people that this summer is going to be a wild one and it's going to cause us to go into a famine here. It's already, you see the storms that have been coming across the United States. It's weather wars. We've talked about this. I may not be able to articulate everything like some other people are, but I understand what I'm reading. And I understand God. Like when you were a little kid and he had the world in his hands, you know. He's got the world in his hands. He holds whole wide world in his hands. God loves us. We're not his footstool. He wants us in his hands. And what these people are doing, that's why I ask in other videos, what is Dulce? What is the Statue of Liberty? What is Mount Everest? That one just came too. What is Lookout Mountain in Tennessee? It's on the border of Tennessee and is that Georgia? Whichever. What are all these places? What really is Skinwalker Ranch? What have these people been? These are humans that are doing this. That's why some of you can't make them, it's humans. Dulce is a mountain of multiple levels where they torture people and modify them. And sometimes they escape, and they just call them escaped convicts out of the nearby prison. You see, some of this happens, they'll call it an escaped convict out of so-and-so. But a lot of those are people that have been modified, where they've been doing testing on them. This isn't something new. It's gone through history. And this is a lot of things that have to come wide out in the open. And Trump needs to tell everybody, the next time he makes a State of the Union, he needs to say the disgusting things that our money has been going to. We deserve to have the choice. And right now, none of us have a choice. There's some choices that we have. You can decide whether or not you want to get hammered or not. You can decide whether or not you want to eat 5 double cheeseburgers, and maybe some fries. I could never eat that many, but I'm just saying if you wanted to. But there's other choices that are going on that we're not getting the choice to. And I think that's what I needed to say. And to tell you that you have to go and read more books, not just online. You can cross-reference, you can do all kinds of things. But we have to open our mind and our hearts up more. So now what I'm going to do, this is my Bible. I got this one. I thought this is the one that I was like, hey, it felt nice in my hands and I wanted it. So I bought it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip through and open a page and we're going to read it. My child, be attentive to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, so that you may hold on to prudence, and your lips may guard knowledge. For your lips of a loose woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps follow the path to Shiloh. So she does not keep strength in the path of life. Her ways wander, and she does not know it. And now, my child, listen to me. Do not part from the words of my mouth. Keep your way, and do not go near the door. Oh, or she will give you dishonor. Isn't that something? Also opened up to practicing abominations, the things that we were talking about. I think AI is a woman. I really do. And I think that here in Proverbs, that it talks about that. Because it talks about it. It mentions it. Oh, this is what it was. I have a part that's been X'd. I X'd it for a reason. This one's I don't. I didn't want to sing the song. Honestly, I didn't want to sing. I can't see anything when those are down. I can only use them for reading. I didn't want to sing the song at the beginning of it. It took me 2 hours to come in here and turn the thing on because I didn't want to sing the song. I have parts that are X through the whole Bible here, marked. I put an X because I didn't want to have to highlight a whole damn page. But the path of the righteous is like the dawn. Sorry, got that backwards. I have dyslexia. But the path of the righteous is like the light of dawn, which shines brighter and brighter until full day. The way of the wicked is like the deep darkness. They do not know what they stumble over. My child, be attentive to my words. Incline your ears to my sayings. Do not let them escape from your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Keep your heart with all balance. I don't know what. Anyways, for from it flows the springs of life. Put away from you crooked speech, and put devilish talk far from you. Let your eyes look directly forward, and your gaze be straight before you. Keep straight the path of your feet, and all your ways will be sure. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Turn your foot away from evil. All right. All right, well, I thought we were going to see, my book tends to open up all the time to Psalm 91, like literally all the time. Something's disconnected and reconnecting, so I don't know what that just did to the video. So we're going to go over this again. So this book, hold on, that's not coming. This book, this book, and then the rest of them. The rest of them. Okay, I didn't want to have to hold them all back up again because I'm wanting to get off of here. I hope that this helps somebody. And I'm sorry for crying at that one part. I didn't mean to. It just happens. Maybe next time it'll be a little easier. Have a very good rest of your week. This is the first day of the week, and make the rest of it wonderful. Always look for something pretty in everything that you see. I look at a bird. I feed birds outside. I have free-ranged pet birds, a whole bunch of doves and blackbirds and brown birds. So I find something nice in that. I call them free-range pets because they come by every morning, afternoon, and evening to get fed. I feed them that much. But that's something beautiful to see the flight of a bird, And I appreciate that God lets me see that every day. I hope that all of you have a very, very good day.
You is kind, you is smart, you is important. You is smart, you is kind, you is important. Oh, that's so good.